for the best in Sooner football recruiting news? Then it's time to get locked in with Parker Thune and Grayson Singleton.
You better lock it up. No, you lock it up. You lock it up. Lock it up.
Whether you're a recruiting doomer or sunshine pumper, text the guys on the First Liberty Bank text line at 405-651-3439. And call your shot on the Riverwind Casino jackpot line at 405-329-9000.
Do it! Just do it!
Now, with Locked In, here's Parker Thune and Grayson Singleton.
It's a Tuesday, a severe weather Tuesday in the great state of Oklahoma at that. And we got an hour chock full on the way of OU football and recruiting talk here on Locked In. Parker Thune, Grayson Singleton with you as always in the Buffalo Wild Wings studios. The show brought to you today by Dorsey Jones GMC in El Reno, family owned and operated. Many of Dorsey Jones' employees have been with the company for over 20 years. And GMC, as we know, offers some of the most reliable trucks and SUVs on the road today. So check out Dorsey Jones in El Reno. All their folks are eager to assist you before, during, and after the buying process and provide phenomenal service as well, including half-price oil changes on Saturdays. Hit us up on the First Liberty Bank text line, 405-651-3439, if you have feedback or questions throughout the show. And Grayson, it feels like a little bit, and I emphasize a little bit here. Think waking up for a lot of people today, it felt like a little bit of a letdown. Oh, still no new commitment? Got a little spoiled over the weekend. 4 commitments on Saturday, 1 more on Sunday. No commitments all day Monday. And it finally felt like, oh, okay, I guess the tidal wave is over from Future Freaks weekend at Oklahoma.
Yeah, they kind of give us like a build-up and then maybe a letdown, and then a build-up and then a letdown, and then a crescendo, and then we're back to
about a crescendo.
Mundane.
Talk about a crescendo, man. It has not been the norm in years past that all of those commitments have dropped in such rapid succession.
Yeah.
And so quickly following a visit weekend, because oftentimes, at least the way it's gone in recent years, guys have made their decisions privately and then announced, hey, I'll be committing publicly at XYZ time, date, 2 or 3 weeks down the road. And so usually it takes longer. But Oklahoma made certain that they were going to capitalize on all of their momentum by getting those guys to go public as quickly as possible. So, get Hayes Fawcett on the horn and get him making some edits. And 5 announcements in 24 hours later, Oklahoma has the number 1 class in the nation in the 2027 cycle.
And then not only that, we wake up this morning and it's a dreary day in central Oklahoma. Mm-hmm. So it just kind of compounds about itself. By the way, somebody on our YouTube chat already has asked you to run a message to your uncle who is in the Senate.
Oh, boy. What would that be?
Oh, you want me to read the whole thing?
Please. I'm immensely curious. I'm always curious what kind of political nonsense people are throwing out there.
Defender says, Parker, would you get your relative John Thune, who looks like you and in the same geographical region of where you are from, to take the SAVE Act for a vote on the Senate floor? God save America. Not only was that the first chat on the YouTube chat, that chat was probably sent about 3 minutes before we actually started.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I don't think old Uncle John in general is going to be taking political advice and or cues from any of his family members, let alone a sports guy like me. So, I'm sure somebody is far more qualified than I am to pass that message to John. It is not me. I don't have a whole lot of clout in John's office. I'm not the type that's hitting him up on the weekends like, John, heard such and such is going on. You want to take some action here?
Because I guarantee you if that would have happened, we'd probably have a resolution to this college football nonsense. Cole Birdwell on the YouTube also says, love the show, boys. I listen every day. Just heard we landed a 5-star tight end. That did happen. Also, Grayson's black?
Never fails.
Never fails.
Oh, let's get rolling here on the text line with Kyle from Salisaw, who asks, Parker, I have a question specifically for you, and I think this is a good place to start the show. After listening to you and Drum's podcast last night, how does it feel now covering the beat, as compared to how it's been since you've been on the beat as far as recruiting and just the energy around the building. Y'all keep being great. Thank you, Kyle. It is so night and day different from what it used to be in terms of covering this program's recruiting efforts and just being able to have some security in covering this program's recruiting efforts, because before Nagy, if we're evaluating the pre-Nagy era at Oklahoma, as a reporter, you learn to kind of always develop a healthy skepticism that everything is going to go according to plan. And even some of the recruitments that look like they are solidly trending towards Oklahoma and there's nothing on earth that's going to deter the Sooners from locking down XYZ prospect in years past, whether that be David Hicks or Williams Winery, Jordan Renaud, whoever. So many of those recruitments went haywire down the stretch because OU was still trying to figure things out. And there was kind of a lack of clarity as far as the chain of command, the chain of communication, and just the overall execution of the NIL component of recruiting, which is a component to every single kid's recruitment these days. Sometimes, I would say more often than not, it's not the thing. Some guys are all about the money. More often than not, guys are evaluating other factors than the money, but money is always a factor in the equation. And so when it comes time to seal the deal, when it comes time to execute the contract, to get the business aspect of things under lock and key, Oklahoma is so much more efficient than they used to be in that sense. And you have dudes on this staff in roles that did not used to exist who are pretty, I shouldn't say exclusively, but pretty primarily geared towards the relational component that Oklahoma has been good at for so long. Because Stacey Ford's official title, for instance, Grayson, is Director of Player Personnel and Retainment. Oklahoma's old Director of Player Personnel, Drew Hill, is still on staff doing all the same stuff he's done for years. It's the nuances of the gig have changed a little bit with Nagy in the front office overhauling the structure, but Stacey Ford didn't replace anybody when he got to Oklahoma. That role was created for him. And so what a guy like that has gotten to do is jump in within an already existing operation and already existing infrastructure and just enhance the whole thing by bringing an additional layer of skills to all the stuff, or I should say via all the stuff that he's good at, that aligns with what this program has been good at for so long.
And it's interesting because Oklahoma went from a 6-7 year in 2024 to hiring a GM who put together a player personnel staff, and then they went to the college football playoff, and now they are on track for the number one recruiting class in the 2027 cycle. Are you surprised that not a whole lot of people have copied this thing just yet? Because, I mean, it's no secret we live in a copycat world.
No doubt.
Especially in the sport of football. Like, I'm shocked we don't hear about, oh, this guy got hired as a GM, or this, let's just say, prestigious scout got hired as a GM, and they're putting this together. It is shocking me that a lot of programs have not followed suit as to what Oklahoma's doing.
And there are some that are starting to take cues. I forget the fella's name, but for instance, Florida hired a GM that's been in the NFL ranks for years and years and years, Caldwell, who came from the NFL as well. And so I think what you're going to see in the months and years ahead is you're going to see more schools adopt the Oklahoma blueprint, because the 2027 cycle here is concrete proof that it works, and it is working. And once you get all those guys in the boat, once you get all those guys to campus, then your coaching staff has to take the reins, and they have to get the most out of those players. But when you have the number one class in America by a wide margin in the first full cycle that this front office organization has been in place for Oklahoma, that's something of which other programs across the country are going to take notice. And so I don't think we're far enough down the road yet that it makes sense that a ton of places would have copied Oklahoma's flow, but they're going to. That day is coming. And I remember when Roger Denny was announced as Oklahoma's new AD, a month or two ago, and when he stepped up to the podium for his introductory address to all of the bigwigs and important folks in that room that were present for his introduction, that was something that he specifically mentioned, is the structure that we have with Jim Nagy and our football front office. That is very unique. That specific structure does not exist anywhere else in college football right now. And so we are ahead of the curve. And the challenge, of course, once you get ahead of the curve, is to stay ahead of the curve before the curve catches up to you. I also think if Oklahoma competes for and or wins a national championship, that'll only even further accelerate the process of schools trying to replicate the structure that exists at OU. Because, yeah, you signed the number one recruiting class in America. That's a huge win. But the ultimate goal is to win national championships, which is why everybody, there's so much discourse, there's so much effort, there's so much ink spilled about finding the next Curt Cignetti, as if the next Curt Cignetti exists. But what Curt Cignetti has done at Indiana has gotten so many people fascinated and enamored with the process of trying to find the next Curt Cignetti, trying to identify who the next Curt Cignetti might be. Because when you have that level of success, it is only natural that everybody wants a piece of the pie and everybody wants in on the action.
Yeah, and it's still interesting to me, though. We are just over a year removed from the advent of Jim Nagy in Norman, and that part is true that we're not that far away from it. But I still take this for example. The Rams hired Sean McVay and had success with Sean McVay.
Yep.
How long did it take for other NFL teams to be like, oh, we got to find a sub-40-year-old offensive genius coach? Kyle Shanahan popped up, Zach Taylor popped up, so on and so forth, Mike McDaniel, whatever. And it did not take that long. So you may not be able to replicate everything that Oklahoma has done, but in terms of copying the structure of what Oklahoma's doing, there's enough scouts out there now, especially in our internet recruiting world, and that, boils over to the NFL as well. There's enough people out there where I would have thought some of the other blue bloods, the Ohio States of the world, which Ohio State's doing they're doing just fine, but the Michigans of the world, so on and so forth, Alabamas of the world, would have an infrastructure that is similar in place. It surprises me that Oklahoma not only got ahead of the curve, but has remained so far ahead of everybody to the point that we are now.
Santa John on the text line says, good afternoon, gentlemen. Other schools are already using OU's resources. As soon as OU offers a hidden gem, he gets swamped with other offers. And, yeah, you've seen that phenomenon a little bit as well. That's only natural, though. That happens to everybody in college football. You can't keep talent under the radar for all that long. If you see a dude that you know is a dude, it's not going to be long before the rest of the country also realizes he's a dude. Because there's enough manpower in pretty much every single P4 recruiting office that they have eyes and ears trained on every program across the country. If Oklahoma or any other school, for that matter, stumbles upon a guy that is a sleeper and on the rise and undervalued in recruiting circles, he's going to be a big name before long. And the challenge is just being that program that identifies more of those guys than everybody else. And I think Oklahoma's been strong in that regard, and they've been able to cash in, i.e. Keldred Ben,
exactly.
for instance.
And if other programs are looking at that and saying, oh, well, we'll just let Oklahoma do the work for us, that's a risky situation too, because a lot of these kids commit to Oklahoma. Why? Because they feel the love of being the first that offered them. So that is a double-edged sword if other programs want to do that.
Let me ask you this.
Okay.
5 commitments in the immediate aftermath of Future Freaks Weekend. Just knowing what we know about the buzz that Oklahoma was able to generate in the recruitments of some of these guys that didn't commit over the weekend. Who would you anticipate is going to be next off the board? Who do you feel like are the top candidates to be the next OU commitment in the 27 class?
Gus Corsair, and I'll throw in Gabe Osborne. That's who I got.
It feels like they're getting close and getting close fast with Gabe Osborne. which is remarkable, man.
What's
because-
allowed them to stay ahead of Texas and Ohio State and all the other suitors for him?
Well, I think it's the proximity. I think it's that simple because he's in the middle of basketball season.
Correct.
And so it's not the easiest thing in the world for him to just ship out and take 48 hours to go on a visit somewhere that's 7 or 8 hours away or half a country away in the case of a school like an Oregon or a Miami. Oklahoma is a half-hour drive for Gabe Osborne. So the fact that they've been able to get him on campus that last weekend of January and the first weekend of March has only solidified their status as the lead dog in the Osborne recruitment. And so proximity doesn't always weigh that heavily. Every recruit's circumstances, or set of circumstances, I should say, is unique, obviously. But when you have a guy that, because of his commitments outside of football, is kind of bound geographically on where he can visit during the winter, it certainly helps when you're the closest school to home.
No, that's a really good point. Never thought of that.
It really is that simple.
I mean, and they're still playing. They're going to the state tournament. Mustang is.
Yeah. And he's having a great basketball season.
Mm-hmm.
And partially by virtue of that great basketball season that he's turning in right now, I think the rest of the country is really waking up to how special of an athlete Gabe Osborne is. And
incredibly athletic.
Yeah, he's going to be in that 5-star conversation. And Oklahoma has a chance to cash in on another very highly regarded prospect in the 27 cycle that everybody wants due to the very simple fact that they just happen to be right down the road and they've been able to get him on campus more than anybody else.
It's a good point. You and I were talking about this yesterday off air, and Lucas asked this question on the YouTube chat. Grayson, do you think we make the playoffs again?
In 2026?
Yeah, Oklahoma.
What do you think?
We'll know by October. Depending on those first 3 Power 4 games against Michigan, Texas, and Georgia. We'll know by October.
Yeah, and I'll say this, just trying to gauge expectations within the building. Nobody really wants to talk about it, not because they're not confident in this team, that they know this team's going to win games in 2026. But until the pads go on and they start spring football, I don't know that they're going to be able to reliably project what the outcome is going to be this fall for Oklahoma. And I don't know that anybody wants to be sending out rat poison behind the scenes. You know, I don't know if anybody wants to be feeding and or consuming the rat poison ahead of schedule.
Yeah, and you have your marquee games against Michigan, Georgia, Texas, Ole Miss, Texas A&M. Could you win all 5 of those games? Absolutely. Could you lose all 5 of those games? Absolutely. So I think we'll get a good gauge of this by mid-October.
We should. We typically do. By the time the Texas game rolls around, generally we know the trajectory of Oklahoma's season, and in many cases,
I don't know. I think last year lied to us.
Why is that?
After that Texas game, did anybody here think that they were going to make the college football playoff?
I didn't think they were going to make the playoff.
I did not either.
To be completely honest.
I didn't either.
But I mean, 9-3, 10-2, that neighborhood, that was still very obviously within striking distance for Oklahoma. The low point felt like the Ole Miss game.
Sure.
At the end of October.
Sure.
Where, you know, you'd had the bye in October, and so over the course of that month, the Sooners had gone 1-2, and they had to win out. They had to win out to make the playoff field, and it just didn't look like that was going to happen with the schedule they were facing the rest of the way. Tennessee, Alabama, Missouri, LSU.
It did help that LSU stunk last year.
Yes, they were not very good at all. They will likely be better this season. But Oklahoma doesn't have to play them, do they?
No, they do not. Which I'm kind of sad for because I liked talking about Lane Kiffin for that whole week leading up to that game.
Nah, that was fun, man.
I was hoping he would stay at Ole Miss just for that reason.
405-651-3439 is the First Liberty Bank text line. 1 segment down, 2 to go here on Locked In. Keep it here on the Ref, the home of Sooner fans, and we'll be back with you in just a moment.
Locked In is brought to you every day by Dorsey Jones GMC in El Reno. Dorsey Jones GMC is family-owned and operated with a knowledgeable, low-pressure sales staff here to help you through the buying process and half-price oil changes on Saturdays. Visit dorsey-jonesgmc.com for more information.
Good times are calling your name at the Showplace Theater with acts like Chicago, March 13th. Randy Hauser. Spencer, March 21st. And Nate Smith, March 27th. Riverwind is OKC's favorite casino experience.
Feeling stuck in your current home? Now is the best time to make a move. Home Creations is making home ownership more affordable with low interest rate opportunities and special financing. Don't wait. Live like a champion today. Call Holly at 405-364-9999 to find your dream home.
364-9999 means Home Creations.
At Landers CDJR of Norman, it's the declaration of deals. Pick any new 2026 Ram Light Duty Crew Cab Bighorn or Laramie with a 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty, or any new 2025 Jeep Wrangler Gladiator or Grand Cherokee in stock, and we're giving you big dealer discounts and 0% financing for 60 months with no payments for 90 days. Shop LandersCDJRNorman.com for straightforward internet pricing with no special add-ons when you get here. 0% financing must finance with Stellantis Financial for well-qualified buyers.
Entrepreneurs and More Norman in South Oklahoma City have an experienced business partner in their neighborhood. More Norman Technology Center's workforce and economic development team understands the challenges entrepreneurs and small businesses face every day. From building an effective business model to hiring the right employees and managing cash flow, More Norman's business development experts can help you move forward confidently and thrive, knowing that you have a skilled partner at your side. Learn more about More Norman's Technology Center by calling 405-801-5000 or visit us online at mntc.edu.
Are you ready for spring sports season? Gear up like a champion with Balfour & Norman's exclusive apparel for OU softball, baseball, and gymnastics. From the diamond to the gym, we've got the latest shirts, hats, and fan gear that show your Sooner pride in style. Whether you're cheering in the stands or repping your team around town, Balfour of Norman has you covered. Visit us today on Campus Corner or online at crimsonproud.com. Balfour of Norman, where you'll find everything Sooner.
Winning in business means having the right teammate. Stride Bank's commercial banking experts are here with treasury management, lending, and cash flow solutions designed to help your business score big. From local startups to established enterprises, we've got the tools and expertise you need. Visit stridebank.com. Stride Bank, member FDIC. Stride Bank on your team since 1913 with Oklahoma roots and nationwide reach.
Oklahoma, Joseph Dabrowski, General Manager at Seth Wadley Chevy GMC in Pauls Valley.
We know times can get stressful.
And Seth Wadley Chevy GMC in Pauls Valley is here to make it count.
That's why we're giving more money for your trade and giving way more than market value.
Whether you need a Chevy or GMC, a heavy-duty, van, crew cab, cabin chassis, or any fleet vehicle, we have millions in inventory for you to choose from in all sizes and all trims. And with some of the biggest discounts and the lowest interest rates, that's something only an all-American brand from an Oklahoma-owned dealership can do. Oh, and if you have any challenges, just ask for me, Joseph Dabrowski, General Manager, to help your visit be one of the best you'll have anywhere. And you'll keep getting savings with Seth spending over $24 million and counting on a promise. Tell him, Seth.
That's my promise of oil changes and engines for life on new or used gas or diesel at no additional cost to you.
So get to the store with more at Seth Wadley Chevy GMC I-35 exit 72 in Pauls Valley or click SethWadleyChevy.com.
I saw a couple things when I logged into my feed on Twitter.com earlier today.
Oh, man.
First off, a bunch of tweets from people across the political spectrum, like, remove John Thune as majority leader. I was like, oh, no.
Wait, people
are
actually calling for your unc's removal?
Oh, of course they are.
I did not know that.
That's political Twitter for you. But I'm like, oh, no. Am I going to see my last name trending again today?
That must be so special.
It's something.
You might look at that and
sure
be like,
is something.
Damn, that's my
It's
kinfolk.
never because of me. I'll tell you that much. It's never because of me. That's probably a good thing, too. Because if I was trending nationally, something bad probably happened. I also saw this, though. So there's a defensive lineman from the state of Arkansas named Eli Thornton.
Okay.
Not an OU target, not an OU offer. But I saw this and I had to laugh. He is what we would consider to be a premium cracker on this show. And this particular premium cracker has what I would consider to be the quintessential exciting white top 5. This is the most exciting white top 5 in the history of exciting whites. Are you ready for this?
Okay, wait. Let me guess.
Okay.
All right. So he's from the state of Arkansas. So is Arkansas in here?
Arkansas is on there, absolutely.
Okay. BYU.
No, not BYU.
Okay. Kentucky.
No, not Kentucky.
Okay, give it to me.
His top 5 was Arkansas,
Okay.
Wisconsin,
Oh, yep.
K-State, Oklahoma State,
Hey, man. No, that's real talk, though.
and Vanderbilt. I was like, man, we're just missing Iowa there. Just throw Iowa in the mix, make it a top 6. And
Iowa, that's the obvious one I remember because Kirk Ferentz and them, they don't got no black people on that team.
No, they don't. But they get a lot of corn-fed beef.
I mean,
on that roster.
the first 2 white corners in the NFL since the early 2000s, coincidentally, not, both came from Iowa.
I'm telling you, man, they got a monopoly on those farmer-strong white boys from the Midwest.
They really do.
And they make it work. All they need is a quarterback. Like, nobody realizes this, but Iowa, for years and years and years, has had absolutely, by every measure, one of the best defenses in all of college football.
Yes.
It's just nobody is cognizant of this because they don't win like they should because they suck so bad on offense, particularly at the quarterback position.
Yes. Which being like the school for the white boys, it's kind of interesting that you suck at quarterback.
I know. Last time they had a half-decent quarterback, it was Nate Stanley like a decade ago, and they went undefeated in the regular season and were a whisper away from going to the college football playoff.
Mm-hmm.
Literally all it's ever taken for Kirk Ferentz in Iowa is a quarterback because they do everything else really well.
Okay, so Oklahoma State is in the category of white boy schools. Like, I know they're, like, known as an ag school, yes.
Yes.
But I was surprised as I went there at the amount of black people that are actually at Oklahoma State.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
You would actually kind of be surprised. And I'm talking about outside of the football and basketball teams, too.
I don't know many Oklahoma State alumni.
That's okay.
You are one of them.
Yes.
So.
Yes.
But
yes, though there are more there are more black people there than you would otherwise think.
Oklahoma State does kind of have the same connotation nationally as Kansas State. Ag schools equals white in the public eye.
Ag schools in the middle of nowhere.
Yep.
With, those types of people. Yeah, I could say it's earned the reputation.
Mm-hmm. The Knippelmeyer, I'm sorry, not the Knippelmeyer, the First Liberty Bank text line is 405-651-3439. Cup of Dirt asks, do you call him Uncle John or Majority Leader? I have never in my life referred to him as Majority Leader. He has always been Uncle John to me.
You just go walk up to him and be like, that's like so close to say Supreme Leader.
Oh, gosh. Yeah, no, not that.
Put
it in reverse, Terry.
That's a good one. The Streak says, so you're calling Iowa the white Grambling. Correct.
Yeah.
That checks out.
That tracks. David from Norman wants to know, are the parents a part of the Super Freaks Day and the summer barbecue, or is it only the athletes?
Super Freaks.
What do you think? Which sounds freakier, Super Freaks or Future Freaks?
Future Freaks, because, like, if you want to take that out of context, it sounds like grooming.
You said it, not me.
Again, I said if you take it out of context. We all know what we're talking about here.
Yeah.
But no, Future Freak sounds a lot worse than Super Freak.
Answer your question, David. Yes, the parents are a part of it. The parents oftentimes will accompany their kids to unofficial visits in the spring and definitely to OVs in June. I think they organize it. The NCAA has organized it such that the universities can comp the travel for the kid and both his parents. Or I think more broadly, it's the kid and 2 immediate family members.
I will say, though, on those types of visits, how much hands-on do the parents get? Like, Are they sequestered somewhere else, or are they in there watching, like, the camp stuff and what's going on? Like, how close to the actual process are they?
Yeah, it just kind of depends. There's not really, like, a standard procedure there.
Okay.
You can kind of do what you please as a parent on a visit like that. If you want to be right at your kid's hip the whole time, you can do that. If you want to go independently, have some conversations, discussions, see the sites with the coaches and members of the staff, then you're more than welcome to do that as well. But yeah, there's not like a super defined protocol there, especially on unofficial visits. OVs, it's a lot more regulated because it has to be. There's so much that they cram into what amounts to like a 36-hour window.
Yeah.
So everything is pretty regimented. Everything happens on a certain timeline, and it's all very orderly.
Which, for clarification, the Champion Barbecue, that's an official visit weekend.
That is correct.
Yes.
And for anyone who's unclear, the distinction between an official visit and an unofficial visit is that an official visit happens on the school's dime, an unofficial visit happens on the players' and the parents' dime. And thus, official visits are much more heavily regulated by the NCAA because, well, if the families of these players are paying for their own trips and their own expenses, all that, well, you can't really regulate that. So you could take an unofficial visit to a given school and you could stick around for as long as you wanted to. You could be on campus for a week if you wanted to be on campus for a week. Official visits, you get essentially a window of 36 hours, and that's it.
Cup of dirt on the First Liberty Bank text line.
Man, he's been active today.
Yes, he has. What can we expect from Danny Okoye and Nigel Smith this year? And is Andy Bass going to make an appearance?
Yeah, I'll tell you, man. Danny Okoye is going to be in the mix, obviously. We'll see about Andy Bass. It's a deep running back room. He's coming off a couple of significant knee injuries. But Nigel Smith, man, and I don't want to make this comparison in a purely apples-to-apples sense. I don't want to make it seem like Nigel Smith is going to be the next version of this dude. But if you listen to Brent Venables on the Oklahoma Breakdown last week talking about Nigel Smith, he's saying a lot of the same stuff that he was saying a year ago about Taylor Wine, about the strides that he's seen from Nigel Smith this offseason. And by the way, it's not just Brent Venables that has been wholly impressed with the progress Nigel Smith has made. He's up to almost 300 pounds, Grayson, so he is a true defensive tackle. And his testing numbers have been ridiculous. Like, testing numbers that make you go, where did this alien come from? Where has he been hiding the last 2 years?
Yeah.
And it's a good reminder. Taylor Wine was a good reminder. I think Nigel Smith is a good reminder, that not everybody develops on the same timetable. Not everybody is a year one guy. Not everybody is a year two guy. And that's okay because Taylor Wine was a year three guy. And if Taylor Wine has the same type of season in 2026 that he did in 2025, he'll be in that top 50 conversation for next year's NFL draft. So it's taken Nigel Smith a while to settle in, but the strides that he's made throughout the offseason suggest that he is going to be elbowing his way into a much more significant role for this program.
And you know what's interesting? Does the recruiting era of the internet era of recruiting make us accelerate our timeline of expectations a little bit?
I think it does.
Yeah. Because you're already so familiar with the kids and you're familiar with their game and their body type and their build and whatnot. That it's like, oh yeah, all these people have been telling me they were good. Boy, they look great on all their film and stuff. Maybe this will translate immediately. Like, no, not so fast. Not so fast.
Mm-hmm.
They're still translating from being 17-year-olds to what now is more so a grown man's game than it ever has been.
Mm-hmm. And there are also just a lot of morons out there, which has always been the case in society. But the morons all have a platform now on social media. And so, like, for instance, over the weekend, I think I tweeted about Graydon Howell, something completely unrelated, but some Texas fan was in my mentions going, you thought Michael Hawkins was a D1 QB. And I read that, and I just didn't even bother to respond. Because you know what? You're a moron. And I don't even know how I can have an intelligent conversation with you if you're just that far removed from reality. Like, of all the guys you're going to diss me on, with regard to my past evals, they haven't always been perfect by any stretch. But, like, first off, Michael Hawkins is a D1 quarterback that's going to be starting at the P4 level this fall.
Uh-huh.
And at Oklahoma, he was the first true freshman in program history to start the Red River Shootout. So that just goes back to the overarching point there, which is there are so many folks that have overinflated expectations of how quickly these guys are going to become stars at the next level.
We had a super chat on the YouTube chat. Pierre asks, any news of what the platform of spring practice will be or what all will be involved and the possible recruits?
The platform of spring practice?
Like, do you mean, is it going to be streamed somewhere, or are you talking about the spring game?
I think he's got to be talking about the spring game.
I think he's talking about the game, like if it will be available like on an ESPN Plus or something
and I'm
like that.
sure it will be. It has been in the past, of course. We didn't have a spring game last year. Had the Crimson Combine instead, which itself was, I believe, televised in some form or fashion. But, yeah, I don't know where the spring game is going to be accessible, but I have no doubt it will be, even if you're not in the venue. And the Sooners will have recruits on campus. Which ones? Don't really know yet. We're more than a month out. There's still a lot of work that needs to get done on the logistics end to be able to book visits with these kids in advance of that April 18th date. But, yeah, historically speaking, Oklahoma has made the spring game a big recruiting weekend, and I have no doubt there will be several big-time recruits on campus next month when the Sooners do hold their first spring game since 2024. Okay, folks, let's hit another break. We are due. On the other side, more of your texts, more OU football and recruiting talk, as you know. That's what you can count on here on Locked In. This is the home of Sooner fans. Parker Thune, Grayson Singleton with you. Keep it right here.
Dustin Dvorak here. Do you eat, sleep, and breathe football? KREF is the only place for the most comprehensive daily analysis of Sooner and college football. We are the football experts. We're the home of Sooner fans. Download the KREF app and listen from anywhere.
No matter who you are or what your background, we here at Big Tobacco want you to know that we will never discriminate against any age,
ethnicity, or gender.
You can trust that we will tell you whatever lie is needed to convince you to try smoking.
Our messaging will
always think of you first.
Lying to you. Right where you are.
Because you are our
number one customer.
Big Tobacco wakes up every day ready to get you hooked. Help fight the lies at tobaccostopswithme.com. A program of T-Set.
This is Jake Aldrich, partner at Aldrich Teasdale. At Aldrich Teasdale, we worked for the world's largest insurance companies before we learned how they truly treat people and know that they are out to minimize or deny what has happened to you. When fighting them, you need a lawyer who knows their game plan and will be there to guide you every step of the way. From your medical treatment to the final resolution, Aldrich Teasdale will be by your side. Don't wait. Call Aldrich Teasdale today at 405-447-HURT. That's 405-447-4878.
Hey, it's Darian Oka for Totally Tickets. Hey, Ref Army, you looking for the best place to buy tickets to your next OU game, Thunder game, or the best concerts? My friend Mike, call him Fletch at Totally Tickets has you covered. Visit TotallyTickets.com to find your event today. Oh, and good news, Ref Army. Just type in the promo code KREF and get up to 10% off your purchase. Go to TotallyTickets.com now. They are the best.
Come on down to River Bottom Nursery at one of their 2 locations in OKC. Now under new ownership, River Bottom serves both the commercial industry as well as the gardener and homeowner at both their plant and tree nursery locations. River Bottom Nursery has everything you need to make your yard paradise. Call them today, 405-735-3636, or swing by one of their 2 locations. RiverbottomNursery.com, Oklahoma City's premier tree and plant nursery.
Are you dealing with chronic pain, back pain, joint pain, old sports injuries, tendinitis, plantar fasciitis, stubborn muscle strains? Well, you don't have to live with it. At OK Theta and Wellness, we use innovative technologies like StemWave shockwave therapy to improve your overall well-being. StemWave stimulates your body's natural healing response to help reduce pain and restore movement. No surgery and no downtime. Let OK Theta and Wellness find a life-changing solution for you. Ready for relief? Visit oktheta.com today to learn more.
At Landers CDJR of Norman, it's the declaration of deals. Pick any new 2026 Ram Light Duty Crew Cab Bighorn or Laramie with a 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty, or any new 2025 Jeep Wrangler Gladiator or Grand Cherokee in stock, and we're giving you big dealer discounts and 0% financing for 60 months with no payments for 90 days. Shop LandersCDJRNorman.com for straightforward internet pricing with no special add-ons when you get here. 0% financing must finance with Stellantis Financial for well-qualified buyers.
Hey, wouldn't it be great if life came with a remote control? You know, you could hit pause when you needed to, or hit rewind, like that time you knocked down that wasp's nest. Uh-oh. Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. With early diagnosis and a few healthy changes, you can stop prediabetes before it leads to type 2 diabetes. To learn your risk, take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its prediabetes awareness partners.
Your child is sick. With those 4 words, the innocence and joy of childhood disappears. But Starlight has taught us 4 other words that make all the difference. The power of play. Happy kids heal faster. That's why Starlight Children's Foundation delivers happiness through gaming, toy deliveries, and more to hospitals across the country. Learn more at starlight.org.
I mentioned last segment, as Steely has mentioned many, many times over the years, that society is full of morons. And I was reminded of this yesterday when I was scrolling through Twitter.com, shocker, because morons love that site. And I saw the news that apparently Dak Prescott and his fiance are splitting up.
Ooh, let's talk about this.
Right. I have no insight to add here, but I saw the headline. I think the article, it was something from TMZ, like the reason they broke up was not a prenup, in contrast to some previous reporting on it. And I scroll through the replies and people are going, at Grok, what's it really about then? And these people are the people that drive me nuts, Grayson. I cannot fathom that these people actually exist. These people are so invested in celebrity relationships that they feel like they have to have an answer to the question of why Dak Prescott and his fiance parted ways. And moreover, they're so dumb that they think the answer is going to be something that is somehow available to Grok, not to humanity.
As if Grok
not to the not to you and me, not to the public. It's not. We're not going to have any clue what's going on behind the scenes, but somehow Grok will.
As if Grok is an all-knowing deity or something like that.
Is this what some people think? Like, do some people think Grok is an all-knowing deity? Because I swear some of y'all be acting this way on social media.
Yeah, and I think some people are just kind of trolling too.
There are definitely people that use Grok to troll. There are definitely also people that use Grok in total sincerity and ask it questions like that. Woof. There was also, on the First Liberty Bank text line, 405-651-3439, we got a text from Kyle from Salisaw asking, can you all change my name to Ginger Ninja? Sorry, Kyle, but no, the answer is no. We can only have one Ginger Ninja around these parts, and that distinction is reserved for Jacob Curry now. So you're going to have to wait 4 years, maybe 5. That is the lone Ginger Ninja in the state of Oklahoma for the time being.
We can only have one of those in the entire state?
Only one.
All right.
Jacob Curry is the Ginger Ninja. Kyle from Salisaw, you're on deck, though. By 2030, you should be able to claim the title.
I mean, unless Jim Nagy stumbles across another one.
This is true. How many gingers like Jacob Curry are that athletic, though?
Okay, this is fair. There can't be that many.
You're dealing with a very small sliver of the population anyway, just in general.
This is true. Mike S. says, don't forget the average reading level is under 6th grade in America. Is it really that low?
That wouldn't surprise me. A lot of people have just lost the capacity to use basic grammar skills, even, like write coherent sentences.
Outlaw Devil Gary on the YouTube chat says, settle down, Grayson. You have no chance. I think referring to Dak Prescott's now ex. I don't care.
Grayson's off the market, brother.
I was about to say, I got my own relationship, dog.
Grayson is off the market. 832 Mike says, I'm still waiting for PJ to be the dude everyone said he would be. He got brought up by Brent Venables yesterday in the presser. Grayson mentioned that PJ had some off-season foot surgery. And so what do we take from that? Is PJ going to be limited and or unavailable for spring ball? I have to dig on that a little bit more. But he called PJ's situation a contract year, which is an unconventional way of putting it, but I mean, it's true.
Yes.
It's PJ Adebayo's last season at Oklahoma, and it's going to be the season that dictates whether or not he is an NFL draft pick, whether or not he has legitimate career prospects at the next level. And he also pointed out, hey, this guy's been in the mix. He's played meaningful snaps for us, but he's never started a college game in his life. So 2026, I would say there's as much riding on this singular season for PJ than there is for any other player on this roster, just because we've seen what he can be. We've seen the flashes. He's had moments. From his freshman year against Cincinnati and Texas to this past season against Tennessee. We know what he's capable of, but consistency at every juncture has eluded him. And so it's going to be establishing that consistency. It's going to make the difference for PJ.
Yeah. And also establishing the consistency with his health.
Yeah.
Is going to be the prerequisite. I mean, that's been the bugaboo for him. I mean, sure, he's progressed a little bit slower, but he hadn't been consistently healthy either.
And that's obviously something that's kind of out of his control. Like,
yeah,
you can't really help it when you break an ankle or something like that. Some injuries are preventable, and Oklahoma plans to take recovery a lot more seriously this coming year for their players. I mentioned this in the 12 o'clock hour. I'll bring it up again. They have introduced a system. I found this out from talking to Bo Jandro yesterday at Media Day. He said they have introduced a system where they grade players on a star chart, a 5-star scale, in a number of different categories: academics, workouts, recovery, nutrition, etc. And so, like Bo said, you get a D on a test, you might come in and take a look at the board, and you're listed as a 2-star for academics. And so that's part of the way they keep all these guys accountable. And so recovery, I know for a fact, in past years, there have been guys on this roster that did not take recovery seriously enough at all. And it came back to bite them. Came back to bite the team. Because they'd get hurt. And they'd have to miss time. And so recovery in particular is one thing that the program is really, really emphasizing in 26 and beyond.
Okay, let me ask you this, because you're a lot closer to this than I am. Is recovery, not part of the mandatory practice times or something? Or are we talking these players just aren't going to the trainers? Or are we talking okay, these players aren't doing their stretches on their own time at the crib or not icing things down at the crib? What are we talking about here?
No, there's certainly some stuff that is mandated, obviously, by the program.
Right.
And then there's stuff that you're expected to take care of on your own. And
got it.
There were guys that were not very faithful to that duty. I understand. A lot of them are no longer here, in case you were curious. So, a lot of those guys are no longer here. But the point remains, recovery is going to be a focus for these guys. A listener in California says, Parker, I need some of your explanation expertise. So the kids that are in the 27 class are high school juniors right now, correct? So senior year starts in August or whatever. How in the heck are they able to enroll by December or January as early enrollees? Last question regarding your uncle, Parker. Were you ever interested in politics growing up? Gosh. Nope. I am and always have been a sports guy. Never wanted to go into politics. Never. In my family, he asked am I the outlier? Is my uncle kind of the outlier? My uncle is definitely the outlier. He's the only one of the Thune clan that is involved in politics, at least to that extent. But to your question about early enrollees, yeah, I mean, it's pretty simple. I think a lot of us probably shared this experience growing up, Grayson. You know, you're in a position where, especially if you take summer classes in high school,
yes,
you can very feasibly graduate a semester early and enroll a semester early. And that's all that these guys are doing, is graduating high school a semester early, enrolling in college a semester early. I can recall I had the option of graduating early when I was in high school, and I chose not to exercise it because I wanted to be able to enjoy senior year before I had to become a full-fledged adult.
Mm-hmm.
And I also had to play my senior year of baseball. So there was never any appeal in graduating early for me. But especially for these guys who are already finished with football by the time December graduation rolls around, the appeal that they see in it is they get on campus a semester early. They can start learning the playbook. They can start getting acclimated to the S&C a semester early, and that's going to set them up to potentially make more of a year one impact than they otherwise would have made if they just showed up in June.
Which that'll be interesting what the process of that will be if the calendar ever gets adjusted. If we move the portal even further back, and if we get rid of the early signing day period, do more, like if those two things get introduced and enacted, do more players finish out high school all 4 years and then join their next college in May or in June or whatever. Like I do think that's up in the air as to how much further into the future that sort of process is going to be if they move signing day and if they move the portal back, which I think they should.
Doug in Norman asks, Parker, when do you plan on becoming a full-fledged adult? Never, Doug.
Got to always be some kind of a kid.
I'm always going to be a little kid at heart. Always. How about this? I'd like to hear your answer to this question.
Go for it.
Jeremy from Memphis asked, is Jamison Roberts better than Peyton Houston, and how does he compare to Michael Hawkins?
No, he is not better than Peyton Houston.
Okay.
Jamison Roberts has a big arm. He is a good player. I think Peyton Houston has an even better arm and is a better player. How does he compare to Michael Hawkins, though? Jamison Roberts is bigger than Michael Hawkins.
They're very different players.
They are. They like he's bigger. He's not the track star that Michael Hawkins is. Just in terms of his speed. I don't know if Michael Hawkins was a track star, but they're very different players.
Yeah, it's hard to compare those two because, you know, I think so many want to just loop all the dual threat quarterbacks into the same bin, if you will, and there's so much variation amongst those guys in terms of their exact style of play. Michael Hawkins had a certain style of play. Jamison Roberts has a certain style of play, as does Peyton Houston. Fundamentally, I mean, if you break it down, if you strip it down to the studs, they're all the same. They're all dual threat quarterbacks. But that is where the similarities kind of end. Because when you look at their individual skill sets, the things that they do well, their measurables, their offenses, even the schemes that they've grown up running, there's so much that distinguishes each of those three guys. So the name Peyton Houston hasn't been mentioned on this show in a long, long time.
Mm-hmm.
And I understand why, because he committed to LSU last September, and I think everybody at that point understood he's probably not budging from that commitment as an LSU kid. And Oklahoma waited a couple months, and then they went after Jamison Roberts, and they got their guy. And Oklahoma's content in landing Jamison Roberts. One thing I really like about Jamison Roberts is that in addition to having ideal prototypical measurables and a big arm, he's also an excellent leader and is somebody that's going to bring those qualities to the locker room the way that every quarterback should and needs to at that level. But, yeah, I think you're just going to kind of have to get resigned to the reality that you're going to have to play Peyton Houston at least every other year, if not every year, in the SEC, and he's going to be a tough guy to handle.
Wait, hold on. You didn't answer the original question.
What was the original question?
Do you think Roberts is better than Peyton Houston?
I think he has a higher ceiling. I think he has a higher ceiling. I think right this second, Houston is a better prospect. And it's because Houston just has a level of polish, and we talked about this at the time. Like
Yeah.
he has a level of polish that is very uncommon for that age. He is the most polished quarterback in the 2027 cycle.
And which the reason I wanted to know your answer to that is because when we were talking about Peyton Houston being a possibility for Oklahoma, you said there was no other quarterback in the 2027 class you would rather have.
Yeah, he's really good, man.
Mm-hmm.
He's really freaking good.
Do you still hold to that opinion, though?
See, I don't know. And I don't know because, for instance, at the time, Jamison Roberts wasn't even on the radar.
Exactly.
And so I'm going to form an opinion. It might be the same opinion. It might be a different opinion this summer as I start to do a little bit more homework on all of the guys that are going to be in the upper echelon of this quarterback class. But there's no question. Oklahoma got a dude in Jamison Roberts. LSU got a dude in Peyton Houston. And in Houston, they got a guy that's not going to be a whole lot of fun to defend in a few years as the starting quarterback for the Tigers. Regardless, that brings us to the end of another fine installment of Locked In, which we will do once again tomorrow. Same time, same place here on The Ref. Till then, The Rush is next with Tyler and Ted.